been more and more. Let's see what kind of video I got today. What's up, guys? How you doing? What's up, Troy? Dion, Jenny, Joe, everybody, what's going down? Hey Dion, I enlisted a few other people to have like a little group chat that we want to record on that VA topic. Now I just need to coordinate with you guys if you're on board to do that with us.
Sure, yeah, just let me know when.
Yeah, are there any days of the week that are bad for you? Because it would probably be I don't know, Joe Bauer. We need an extra day. What would be a good day? Or we could just book it during our podcast recording time. We'll do that. We'll do it on a Tuesday at 9:30, Dion, and I'll send you guys out a schedule on that, if that sounds good to you. So I got
Works
you,
great for me.
couple lenders. You're kind of the investor person on the squad for that. Should be fun. What's up, everybody? I just saw an Inman article that National Association of Realtors is being sued by the Department of Justice. That's kind of interesting. All related to, I'm sure, the continued disruption of real estate and brokerage with, direct online home buying and squashing of commissions for, agents and stuff like that. The usual stuff. What's going on, everybody, as everybody's getting ready to jump on? Anybody have a deal? I'll kick it off by saying that I have an off-market deal in Shoreline. If anybody is interested in that, the seller really wants to sell it off market. It's a nice corner lot, 7,200 square foot lot in Shoreline. The house is 2,000 square feet and needs a full remodel, kind of like a flip level remodel. or clean it up however you like. So there's 1,000 square feet on the main, 1,000 square feet in the basement that's unfinished with tall ceilings and a way to exit to the backyard from downstairs. And then actually you can, so maybe you can put like a ADU or something in the basement, but then you can also build a dadu in the backyard, as the neighbor has done across the street. The challenge with Shoreline is that it still has the owner occupancy requirement for dadus and ADUs and stuff like that. So it's kind of like if anybody's looking for a really great house hack, 'cause I'm sure Shoreline's gonna change their zoning rules and catch up to what Seattle and Burien and Kirkland and Kenmore have done, be a good opportunity for somebody. So if that sounds like you, I'm going to be throwing it on the market here in a couple weeks, but they really want to prefer to sell off market. Reach out to me if that sounds like you or one of your buyers. Jenny says, hi, everybody. Hey, Jenny. So what's going on? Anybody got a deal they need to put out before we brag about Troy being a celebrity with his mobile home case study of his park there in the Michigan area in Flint? Anybody got anything that they need help with or a deal?
Funny enough, from your contract class yesterday, I'm submitting an offer for a client today for an investment property. And crazy enough, the 22AD and the escalation clause came up. So I was definitely happy to be there for those.
I'm going to point at you. Boom, that's you right there. Boom, I can't get my finger. Award winner. Awesome. Yep. Good stuff. Well, let me know how that goes. So yesterday, for investors and brokers or whatever, I kind of hosted a little bit of an impromptu. There was a thread that came out about, oh my God, we're getting beat all over the place. How do we actually secure a deal these days? So we kind of did just an impromptu mastermind little chat, whatever you want to call it, yesterday. We had 25 people show up to that. It was really good, I thought, right, Kevin? Just a little announcement for you guys that are on with us right now. There's maybe going to be some more people joining us, who knows? But we are going to be changing things. You know, when coronavirus hit, we went to all online, which is awesome because we can be everywhere with you guys. Troy could be in Michigan and still talking to us. And we've done everything absolutely for free. And this is going to continue to be absolutely a free platform and forum where we can talk every week and stuff like that. Whoever's on their phone, please mic themselves, or Joe might unmute them or something. That's a 253 number. So here's what Joe and I are doing is that we want to encourage people to show up because there's much more good stuff that happens when people show up rather than just kind of be a voyeur and listen later. So this is always going to be free going forward. And as of January, we're going to stop sharing the recording with everybody. And you can get the recording if you're a member of Seattle Investors Club, which costs $220 a year. Okay. We spend a lot of time helping to educate all of us here. $220 a year, I think, is worth it. If you don't, that's cool, because you don't have to join Seattle Investors Club. You can still just show up and it's going to be free. So everybody that shows up, it's free. But if you want to have access to the recordings of these masterminds, these weekly things, then you just need to join Seattle Investors Club and they will all be there for you. Of course, the podcast and everything is still free, and you can get that on your favorite, however you listen to podcasts or looking at our YouTube channel. And then the other cool thing I want to tell you guys about that I think is cool is that we are going to open up and invite everybody like Dion and Troy, Kenny, all you guys, Darren, everybody, actually, where anybody is going to be invited to send us videos, like whether they're 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 10 minutes, 20, whatever you want to do about a topic that you want to share about, that you've had an aha moment on, that something shitty happened and you want to make sure it doesn't happen, a little tip, trick, strategy, whatever, webinar, I don't care what it is, send it to me, Julie, at seattleinvestorsclub.com. And if it passes the sniff test, we are going to post it on our YouTube channel. So we're inviting everybody to contribute content, get your voice out there, and just share basically a community thing. I can't let you obviously post that directly yourself for lots of reasons, and frankly, I don't even know how to do that. Joe doesn't even let me do that. So just start thinking about that. If you guys have anything you want to share, tips of the day, like, hey, I'm just at this property and look at this crazy situation or that I had to solve, that kind of stuff. I don't even care what it is. Everything and anything that you guys think is worthy of sharing with others. I'd love to be the place where everybody knows they can come and share. I'm not trying to be the chief here. So, we're going to open it up to everybody. Not everybody has a team that can, host videos and all that stuff. So we've already got all the platform available, and we want to include you guys in it because you guys are all smart and have unique stories and situations and tips and tricks and resources. Joe says the intention would be to get you more business from our followers and us more videos for our channel. True that, right? So if you want to, even with your clients or when it gives you an ability to be a voice of authority, basically, is what the thing is, right? So when people see you, for example, all the brokers that are with me on my VIP education community, I try to record a podcast with them, whether maybe it's just to give them an authority piece that they can use for themselves to get more clients, business, etc. You want to get more mobile homes, Troy? Share your podcast with mobile home sellers that you're the man and serious, right? Start sending me videos that will give you guys a voice of authority, and we'll post them. We'll categorize them somehow. We're just going to go for it. Invite you guys all to do that. Property management, military, using your VA loan, whatever, investors, lenders, everybody. Sharing. This is a sharing thing, and it helps you. It helps us. You guys think that's good? Thumbs up if you think that's cool or whatever. Yeah. So you can start sending them to me now. You can be the pioneers, and we will kick it off. We haven't actually announced this yet, but I am going to be announcing that here, on all our channels, or Joe and I will be soon. So there you go. So none of these are going to be recorded. From this point forward, we haven't announced it actually yet. So we're going to do that as of January, that we won't be, we are recording them, but we're not going to be sharing them with other than Seattle Investors Club members because, we're in business too, guys. All right. And again, it's all going to be free still. You just have to show up. You don't want to join Seattle Investors Club? That's cool. Just show up in person and contribute. There you go. All right. All right. So I've spoken up for today. What's everybody else got going on besides the deal I just said? Anybody got anything? What's that, Troy? Speak, unmic yourself.
Those are, that's my Daily Adventures Words of Wisdom Dropbox video folder.
Oh my God. So will we have access to that? Did you just will we get notified when you drop new stuff in there or what?
Oh, I haven't done anything in a year, but that's all from last year.
Get on it, brother. That's good stuff. Okay.
You can share it.
I'll take a look. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah.
What else anybody's got going on? We have the infamous, soon to be famous Enrique Jevons with us today, who is suing the state of Washington, right? Hey, Enrique.
I am. I'm suing the state of Washington in federal court, and we'll see how it goes.
So Enrique, just so you know, hopefully you and I are going to have a chat maybe on Friday or something like that separately, because I got some stuff to talk to you about. But we're reached out to Governor Inslee to get him on the podcast. So I don't know. That's not what I wanted to talk to you about, but we'll see. We'll see if we have any success. That's Joe's department. So Joe, I don't know, offer him like free Get Better project for life or something, and maybe we'll be able to persuade him to come on. But anybody else? What else is happening? Anybody got anything they need help with, or a deal they need help with, or a deal they need to sell, or off market, or what? Or some listing they have that's actually, they got secret sauce and there's some intel that's a good deal. Anybody? Darren?
Julie, I have something real quick.
Okay, Kenny.
I just wanted to know, I do have the deal in South Carolina. I was trying to just find a real estate agent to help the guy list it. I just wanted to see if it would be okay with you if I typed Jacob to see if he was willing to list that property. For
Yes. Jacob Barnhill.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. Jacob Barnhill in Columbia, South Carolina.
Awesome, I'll look him up. Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else? What's going on? Hi, Rick. What's up? Unmic yourself. Can't hear you. You just look so good, but we can't hear you. Anybody else?
Charmer, you're such a charmer, Julie. You look lovely today. What's the occasion?
Oh, I have to actually work today.
Oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, things here are pretty much just cooking along. We had those RSL zone properties that we were working and are still working, and kind of in the final stages of deciding whether to accept offers on those properties or just build them out ourselves. So yeah, that's just trying to make financial decisions, really.
Right on. Yeah, those are the interesting ones, right? So yeah, so I'm curious to see how that all plays out for you guys. Hi, Katrina.
Hey.
Which one of you is the boss? That's what I want to know.
Oh man.
Katrina is the boss.
We jump for it every day.
24/7. Katrina is the boss.
Right on, right on. You guys have anything, anybody have anything they need help on or a deal that they want to put out or whatever? We need a resource for anything.
I have a question for you, Julie.
Yes, Miss Karen.
So do you have any developers? I have a property that will be coming on at some point. It's 4 lots. One of the lots is right on a lake in the area. And then there's 3 other lots. 2 of the lots have homes on them that may need to be demolished, but they're all kind of right in line with each other.
Pierce County?
Here's King County.
Oh, King County. South King?
Yeah. South King County. And so if anybody is looking for something to develop, I think it's a prime piece of property. All 4 lots, probably going to be right around 9 or so, 900,000. Seems like a lot, but you've got everything is there on the property because of the 2 houses that are there already. So you wouldn't have to do as much development costs as far as I could tell, but I'm not a builder, so I don't know. But anyway, I thought I would mention that if you know of anybody that's looking for some building lots, these would be a great location.
You should also reach out to Jacob Weaver on VIP.
Oh, okay.
So you guys, this is my friend Karen. She is probably my favorite person of 2020, Karen Cochrane. So I encourage you to get to know Karen. She's a broker down in the Tacoma area. She is sorry, Katrina, you are also one of my favorite people of 2020. Karen, you know that video that you posted the other day, just we don't go into detail here, but I almost cried when you were like, just from the heart. So a little side chatting with Karen there, guys. Hope you guys.
Oh, thanks, Julie.
So Karen's got some lots. Would you say 4 lots down in?
Yeah, there's 4 lots, South King County. One's right on the right on the lake, prime property, and the houses in that area that are on the lake are all $1 million homes. And then there's 3 other
Which
lots
lake was that?
It's on. Gosh, let me. I can't even remember at this point. Let me think about it. Like I'll come back in and mention it when it comes to my mind.
Yeah, make sure you reach out to Jacob and Brandon.
Okay, will do.
What else you guys got? Did you guys hear about my deal, Katrina, that I have? I don't think you guys might not want this, but I've got an off-market shoreline deal that is on a corner with a side street. So easy street access to the backyard. The house is 2,000 square feet, 1,000 on the main, 1,000 in the basement that's unfinished in the basement with tall ceilings. Really ripe for kind of like a good house hack or flip to hold type of situation. Put maybe an ADU in the basement and then build a dadu in the back. But Shoreline has that owner occupancy requirement still. So it isn't exactly perfect for the investors these days unless they are, forward thinking and ready to do maybe a house hack type situation.
What area of Shoreline is it in?
It is in Northeast, so it's in the 98155, just on the east side of the freeway. I can
What's the zoning?
single family zoning. The neighbor across the street just did the exact thing that somebody should do. If you have interest, I can shoot you the details
Yeah, that'd be great.
and you can see if you have somebody that might jump on that.
Yeah,
So,
that'd be fantastic.
okay.
I got a question.
What's that, Troy?
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Anyone know how to value mineral rights in Indian reservation?
Mineral rights in Indian reservations. That is a geek out awesome question.
Yeah, it is. That's so cool.
Why do you ask?
So on our exchanger Zoom call this morning, there's mineral rights in Spokane reservation that are being traded for. It's in a long string of trades for a commercial mall in Florida, and so I'm trying to see if I can get in there and just snipe the mineral rights.
Interesting. Ooh, can't wait to hear about that. I have no clue, but now you have piqued my interest. That's a podcastable topic. I don't know. That sounds good.
We might be talking about it on the next podcast.
Right. You're up next, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
So has anyone sold mineral rights separately from land? No.
No. I have no idea about that.
Anyone know anything about buying mineral rights just from an Indian reservation? No?
I mean, I just see a thing here called WeBuyMineralRights.com.
Yeah.
They're in Texas.
Yeah.
I'm sure he looks all that stuff up. I have no idea, but let us know what's up.
All right.
So Enrique, fill us in on, if you can or whatever, tell us what you're up to with your lawsuit. You guys all know Enrique Jevons here, Jevons Property Management.
Yeah, so it's myself and two other plaintiffs. And what we're doing is it's a lawsuit to put an end to the current moratorium on the eviction moratorium for the state of Washington. The reason, so it's not a financial lawsuit. I mean, there's no money to be gained from it. It's just to try and put a stop to it since it's been extended twice already. It looks like it'll likely be extended again. The difficulty with it, the way it's currently written, is that anyone in the state of Washington may stop paying rent without any reason. You don't have to notify your landlord. You can just simply stop paying rent. You don't have to give a reason. At least with the federal moratorium, that one, you do have to show that you've been impacted by the virus, that that you have a financial impact, that you lost your job, a reduction in hours, that sort of a thing. And that's okay, because we do want to make sure that, we help out those folks. Really what I'm trying to get is for vouchers, essentially housing vouchers, to be made available for those impacted by the virus. So those folks who are in need of money can actually pay their rent so they can stay in their home. But right now I have one specific tenant that is flat out not paying rent. He's still employed. He's still employed full time, never did lose his job. But he just told us finally, it took a long time to finally get him to reply, but he finally replied and said, you know what, I'm just not paying rent for because I don't have to. And so that's what makes it difficult. It's obviously unfair to those who are impacted, but also the trying to, besides the lawsuit to get that prevented from continuing, is I'm also trying to, get it so that housing vouchers, so essentially the Section 8 program, or housing vouchers, are provided to individuals who are in need of supplementing their income, right, or don't have enough income to pay for housing. So it is to just expand that program for the duration of the virus so that people can get the rent paid, because right now we're just kicking the can down the road, meaning that as soon as the eviction moratorium is up, all those people who haven't paid rent, whether legitimately or not, rent's going to be due, and there is going to be a whole lot of people that are going to be evicted all at one time as a result. And so trying to prevent that as well from happening. So
Are you able to file right now? I think so, right? Can you file or not file even? Can you get in line?
Not file. You cannot issue a 14-day pay or quit notice. So you can't even start there. You can't issue a 14-day or quit.
And that's a state of Washington thing, right? Not a federal.
That's the state of Washington, right? That's state, just the state. Yeah. Different states have different things going on, but that's just the state of. Mm-hmm.
You know what interests me? I don't know. I was thinking the other day is, why is not the state of Washington buying up distressed hotels and putting in, some sort of state-sponsored housing? It sounds like I'm trying to say like, low-income housing, sort of like these blocks, which is never seems to sound very nice. But I mean, if people are looking for assistance from the government, I mean, it seems like it would be a helpful on both sides of the coin there. Just so you know, everybody, I personally am looking for hotels. If anybody knows of hotels or hotel chains or any hotels that are in need of, they're distressed or they're in need of being sold, I'm highly interested in that right now. So keep me in mind.
For yourself or a client?
What's that?
For yourself or a client?
For a client, institutional sized client, big time fund. Which
Nice. Yeah. Well, I mean, to answer your question about the government taking over hotels or purchasing hotels, that's kind of one of those things as well. Then if they own it, they got to manage it. It's, in my opinion, it's easier for them just to issue vouchers. They could issue vouchers for people to go stay in a hotel. So if you're, you're either homeless out on the street or that sort of thing, you can issue them a voucher. They can stay in a hotel if there are no other, locations for them to stay at. And that would certainly help, because obviously the cost of homelessness to us as a society is huge, right? It's not, that we're not paying a lot of our taxes is going towards the homeless problem. So I think that we need to step it up and put the money towards getting everybody housed.
right.
See how it goes.
I think that, so we did a podcast with Matthew Gardner, who's Windermere's chief economist and, a well-known West Coast, if not national economist, Matthew Gardner, if you guys know who he is. I think that's dropping this week, right, Joe? But that is an interesting thing. The main thing that he was worried about, which you guys are all going to be able to listen to probably this week, is we were talking about affordability. And that we're really, really ramming into the ceiling on affordability issues, probably nationally, not just here, right? And what is that? How is that going to look? I mean, that's going to keep home prices from continuing to go up. At some point, people, you spend more and more, you have to buy a smaller and smaller home that's already done, or you have to buy a distressed, or you have to move further and further out, right? And so that brings me back to, I can feel the rumblings. This is good news for Troy, that mobile homes, because of the affordability issue, are highly, highly, highly in demand right now. And institutional type of buyers are really looking for parks and stuff like that too right now. Really, really something to think about on affordability. What do you guys think? Anybody have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think multifamily housing apartments are certainly going to be more and more in demand over time. So I think that unfortunately, we've become more of a polarized nation as far as economics go, like a lot of other countries, where you've got a lot of wealthy folks and they can, afford a home, and then you've got a lot of folks that are, don't have that much money, and they're going to end up either in some kind of apartments. I mean, lower income apartment buildings, and there's not going to be as much of the middle class anymore, where the United States dream of a middle class home in the suburbs being your own, or middle class home anywhere. I think that's going to be slowly kind of disappearing. And
well, with COVID and all that, people want their own space too, right? And so manufactured homes or mobile homes, can give them a little bit more space to themselves as well, right? I don't know. Troy has, your park is in Flint, Michigan. Is that now that, I don't know how that bangs into the door of affordability issues, but are you feeling that you're getting more applications, or are you getting, how's that all going down for you, in considering you're in a highly, you're banging the wall against affordability out there in Flint, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, our rents are nowhere near even the lowest rents in a mobile home park here in Washington. So I have 10 applicants for every home that I have ready. I get to cherry pick applicants. So it's been great. But so yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think the problem here in the Tri-County area is most parks are near an urban center. So there's a highest and best use problem. And there are a couple that aren't, but they've already been traded.
Do you guys, as anybody, maybe Katrina and Rick, you might be paying attention to this the most. Is anybody hearing anything about any type of zoning changes or easing of zoning, such as that Portland or Oregon has done? That's another thing Matthew Gardner and I were talking about on the show, is how our zoning here in our area is very limiting and causing an issue really for the state of Washington, I'd say. Has anybody heard of any other counties or areas that are going to have some zoning, some upzoning or zoning changes happening? Anybody plugged into shoreline zoning at all here?
Shoreline zoning has changed significantly, but in the transit areas, all the upzoned areas around the around the transit stations,
right,
and the substation. But the rest of it, I'm not sure. I remember looking at their comp plan, and but that a couple of years ago, and really everything was concentrated around those areas,
which is already picked over and happening.
Well, it's phased in. So phase one is now now upzoned, and then interesting, several of those areas, so they're upzoned, but the title actually has prohibitions on breakdown, and so you have to go in and get the whole
subdivision
plat or a majority of the plat to agree to be able to go ahead and utilize the new zoning.
Right. She's saying that there's deed restrictions, guys, in some of these neighborhoods that they won't allow that. So in order to actually be able to redevelop the area, even though it's zoned appropriately for higher use, you'd have to go in and get all the houses in that area to agree to sell, basically. So what else anybody got going on today? 12:04. Anything? Anything, guys? Everybody stuck at home? I'll tell you, it's not raining today, and I have kids stuck at home. So I went out yesterday and bought a new drone to keep my kids off the screens. They're going to be learning how to fly that drone.
That is a great idea.
Yeah, yeah. And
They're going to do all your drone videos for you then for all your
because that one
properties.
in Shoreline, it actually needs a aerial. And I know this, obviously that doesn't count, but this little thing has a camera on it. I'm sure it can't get high enough because you need a license for that sort of thing. But what else? Anybody else want to say anything, contribute anything today? We don't have to stay on till 12:30 if we don't need be.
Anybody really familiar with rap notes? Sorry, somebody else.
Absolutely. Mariska is, yeah.
With rap notes, and how do you taking title subject to, like, how do you put in how do you structure it so that it's not likely the bank will call it overdue?
You should ask Mariska Pilch. You know Mariska?
From your site and from you, I don't think we've ever actually met directly.
That's her expertise.
Okay.
So reach out to Mariska.
I don't have her contact information. Would you mind sharing it with me?
Yeah. Can you grab it, Joe? You're able to grab her contact info, maybe and put it in the chat? If he doesn't do it, then I'll do that. But by the way, if you
know what? I had an attorney. So I purchased a multifamily property, and I am wrapping the mortgage on it. So I can send you a copy of mine. Essentially, we had to get an attorney to write it up. Ended up costing $3,000 for an attorney, so it wasn't cheap. But it's just because the MLS, and it just doesn't have the Northwest MLS. It doesn't have a form specific to wrapping a note.
Right.
So, but yeah, I can email you. I don't know.
Oh, I'd love that.
Katrina,
Should I put my email in the chat?
So what was the on that situation? Give us a little schooling on that. So what a wrap is, guys, is where there's an underlying mortgage on a property. For an example, Enrique is going to be purchasing it, right, Enrique?
Yeah, so I did, it's a 2-year note on it. So I've got 2 years where it's a seller financed, essentially. I am putting money into escrow, an escrow company. The escrow company then pays the taxes, insurance, the existing bank loan, and then any leftover money goes to the seller. And what we did is
like a servicer and loan servicer.
Exactly.
Was that hard to find, or who's servicing that?
Evergreens, I think. Go ahead.
I use this one's in Yakima, of course. So I'm using a Yakima company to service it.
I think Mariska uses Evergreen Note Servicing.
Yeah, and then I've got 2 years to essentially, get the rents up, fix the place up, and then I'm going to refi it out.
And so,
how long do you have on that, Enrique?
I negotiated 2 years. I mean, it's whatever you can negotiate. I did 10% down and 2 years. So
that's pretty cool.
So you did not assume the existing note.
No, the bank, we didn't want to scare off the bank. So the bank has no idea.
Right. So let's clarify so everybody can learn, so it's a seller financing technique where he's buying the property that has an underlying loan on it, right? So lots of people think of seller financing that they got to deal with an owner that owns a free and clear property, but you do not, because the owner you can either assume the loan but more so you can, that seller can do a wrap, which means he's buying the property from the seller's keeping their loan in place. And Enrique is not assuming the loan, but the seller is financing it to him, like the seller is the bank, and Enrique's paying him enough for an entire loan payment, and then the seller will just continue to pay the underlying loan out of that, what Enrique's paying him, and it's all rolling through a loan servicing company. So the seller can't squander and not pay the underlying loan, or Enrique'd be screwed because he owns the property. So you have to have a third party loan servicer to process all the payments every month. So all the parties that need to get paid, so nobody gets screwed over, right?
Yep. And then the end of the year, they send out a 1099. So the, the servicer, it's a neutral third party. And then they send the appropriate tax documents at the end of the year. So it all works out well too.
Right. And so there's always, though, the concern, as Katrina mentioned, or you might have said, that the underlying lender could call the note due because the property has been sold. But I think the school of thought on that is that as long as they're getting paid, they're too busy to call the note. And where the risk comes in, guys, later is if interest rates were to go way up, banks will start calling those due because they can make a higher interest rate. But right now in this low rate environment, it's really not necessarily to their benefit to call the note due. What is the underlying interest rate on that underlying note? Just curious.
Oh, I forget.
Yeah. Right. But
it's low. It's a good, yeah, he's got a good low loan, and it's such an old one too that, we didn't want to, it was a benefit to both of us essentially that he keep it for a bit until I can get the rents up, rehab it, get the rents up, and then I can refinance it out at a, and maybe even pull back my 10% down, and it'll end up being a no money down deal, like some that I try and always do.
And so what, Enrique, teaching everybody, because we're open sharing here, most likely people never do anything, even all you guys listening, hate to say it, but it's true, is that what type of sellers do you think are more likely to be willing to do that type of situation with seller financing with an, it could just be straight up seller financing. It could be a wrap like this.
Yeah, so obviously seller financing is really popular when it's hard to get loans. So this could be for either sometimes properties that are in bad condition, or maybe there was a fire on the property and the owner just doesn't have enough money to fix the place up. So if you ever see a listing that says like handyman special or something like that, that's usually a giveaway the property's not in good condition. And so you tell the person, hey, I don't think I'm gonna be able to get a bank loan on your property. So if you'll sell or finance it for me for a couple of years while I get it fixed up, and then I cash you out, you can make some good money in the meantime, and I'm eventually gonna get you cashed out here. So that's how I've approached people on it. And the properties that I'm looking for are the ones that, yeah, oftentimes have keywords in the listing like handyman special or the word fire, those type of things. Or sometimes if it lacks foundation, banks have a tendency not to loan on it. Also the little cheapy ones, because there are properties in Yakima that the cheapest I've ever bought a single family home was for $30,000. It was a habitable home, but I bought it for $30,000. Of course, a bank is not going to lend on something that dirt cheap, right? So that's another example of where you can seller finance it. Ended up fixing the place up and doing a refi at $120,000 is what the appraisal came in at. So that was a home run on that particular one. But so something it's either dirt cheap or in need of repairs.
Awesome. Do you ever make deals with these sellers, Enrique, where they're reluctant just to do that? So you have to give them a little upside, pay them a little extra.
Yeah. So then, right. If they're asking price is, maybe it's a little high, and you tell them, okay, I'm going to pay you your asking price. You're going to get that asking price. I just need some time. So if you can give me and I've had a person who I did a 0% interest, and same thing. I told them that I needed a couple of years to get the place fixed up. So I'll pay them the full price, 0% interest, and I made, monthly payments on it at 0% interest.
So you're just
Then refi them out. He got the full amount he wanted.
everything's a principal pay down, goes straight towards paying down the principal. Remember, you could ask for anything, guys. There are no rules, right? There are no rules. I just want to tell you guys something while we're sitting here for a moment. See this right here? We're not going to share this recording with everybody in the future. Do you see the value of what we just talked about today because you guys showed up? Do you understand the value of this? This is such a big deal, what Enrique is willing to share, and hopefully I've set up this community where people join and share. And I just want to let you know how important it is to show up, and that everybody who shows up gets rewarded. Just saying out loud, this is really good info that you guys are getting here if you're not cluing in.
And that you'd usually have to go for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of training over a long period of time and pay thousands of dollars for.
So Enrique, you get the gold star for the day. Thank you for sharing. And
Yeah, you still need an attorney to write up a wrap loan. But at least, yeah.
So related to all this, I love my title company, but they will not do a transaction that involves a wrap note, because the underlying mortgage says that it has to be paid. So which title companies do you work with?
An attorney.
Just go through an attorney?
Is that who you're closing yours with, Enrique?
We are, this particular one, we're doing a delayed closing. So it's not your typical standard wrap. This is really, what would you call it?
Non-reported transaction?
Yeah, it's not really a lease option either. It's just delayed closing. How's that?
So you're taking possession and control.
Yeah, I've got possession control. Yeah.
Without actually purchasing it.
Yeah. So the title's still in the seller's name. Yeah.
What is that? Is there an official name for that? There is, right?
I'm sure there is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
So this may be taking us way down a rabbit hole. Why is it that the land contract went out of favor as an alternative to a lease option? Does anybody know?
I think it depends on where you're doing transactions. I know in Texas, land trusts and land contracts are still pretty popular. They're just not around here.
Any idea why? Is there law or some reason other than,
Probably has to do with MLS forms.
Why don't you post that question on
Wouldn't that be funny if it's that simple, Troy?
Put that question on Seattle Investors Club and let's see if somebody answers it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
So I've got something, it's not related necessarily to real estate, and real estate can be included, but I'm with Mike Flynn, who's the founder of the Puget Sound Business Journal. He and I and a couple of other people are putting together, it's called the 20 of 2020. And so we're selecting 20 people who they're already a business success, but they've transcended from just being a business success to bringing cool or inspiring ways to their communities to bring their communities through this 2020. And so there's some pretty noteworthy nominees already in the mix, but we're taking nominations through the end of this month. And then I think they'll be selected by December 7th. And the event will be February 11th, if I remember correctly, at the Columbia Tower Club. Nice. So I can post the link to the nomination form. But if you know anybody who just really deserves to be recognized for what they've done or how they've just elevated their communities, put their names in here, and they'll be.
Can you give us an example of like who's already nominated so we can get that in our brains a little?
think so there's that one of the founders of like Bastyr University. There's names on there that everyone would recognize, but you know, I don't think we're supposed to like share that stuff yet.
Gotcha. Sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
anybody that anybody who receives this distinction and that is honored, they'll be sharing the stage with some pretty influential people.
Cool. Good for you for getting in that committee.
I
Awesome.
don't suppose landlords suing tenants and suing the state, and everybody's going to make the list, is it?
That's right.
No, but people finding creative ways to help landlords pay their rent so that everyone can stay in business might.
Is that just for the Washington area or
It's
how far?
here, it's local, it's Puget Sound.
Local.
Yeah.
Puget Sound.
Awesome. Good stuff. I don't know why something about veterans comes to mind or something like that, but all good. Anybody else got anything here? It's 12:20. 12:20.
I just want to remind everyone, even though Julie wasn't on the call last week, the Fortunato Zoom call, tomorrow's the last day to register. So if you are interested in that, all that came from John Heyer. I'll post it right here into the chat. But if you want to get into that creative investing, you definitely want to spend the $300 for 6 hours on a Zoom call with Pete Fortunato and John Schwab.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, Katrina and I are already registered.
I'm just doing it right now. Everybody needs to do it. That is Troy.
And anything that John Heyer ever teaches, man. Yeah.
Except politics.
Yeah, except you got to listen to his politics, right?
Yeah.
I think he's funny. I think, like he says, he's an equal opportunity offender. So it doesn't matter what your politics are. I think he will offend you.
That is really, really good, Troy. Who ran? Sorry, last week, guys. I apologize. My brokerage firm, which is EXP, had its annual conference last week, and I was very honored to be asked to be on a panel it's called EXP Con for our annual conference, and we have this express offers. I won't go into the details and bore you guys, but it's our national cash buyer platform for EXP Realty, and I am connected to the corporate team for all that, and they asked me to be on the panel for our whole company conference, which was an honor. And I didn't realize it went really, really well. I had like a Beyonce moment, right? It just went really well for me. I got bombarded afterwards. It was supposed to end at, I think, 11, and I just got bombarded afterwards. And that I didn't get to show up for our stuff here. So I apologize. Who stepped in? Joe told me that you guys all stepped up, and was that you, Troy? Did you step up?
It was Rick. Rick did all of it.
Oh, Rick.
No. That was Troy. It was Troy.
It was a group effort.
You want to know something? Honestly, when Joe told me that, I almost cried, because that's the whole point of this. I don't need to run the show. This is for all of us, right? Please.
Julie, we're a pale reflection. You need to run the show.
No, but it made me so happy that I really, because I have a life, I have stuff I got to do. I'm not always going to have to be here, and I want you guys to know that that is the whole point for me to check out and for you guys to take over is awesome. This isn't about me. This is about all of us, and we're all equals. We're all peers, as you can clearly see by everybody who contributes and shares. So thank you, Rick and Troy and everybody, and Aaron Royce, who've done it in the past, and Katrina certainly has done it for me, and I lean on you guys, and this is not mine, this is ours. Okay, so appreciate it big time. Thank you. Anybody else got anything today that they want to add? So, whoops, what was that? Somebody just put something about Zillow. Oh, flipping advice. Go ahead, Darren.
Hey, Julie, I was just gonna say thanks to everybody for, it's just me and my wife. We just like small little mom and pop flippers, and we just finished our second flip. So I'm learning a lot from you guys. And we posted it, and it was pending after 4 days. We're real excited about trying to get that thing closed in the next few weeks. And
what'd you get?
Well, the offer is coming at 428, and of course they got it inspected last week. So we're going to give them a little back and do a little work on it. But I think it's going to be a good one.
Well, God, yes, I know what you picked that one up for. So congratulations, brother.
You should come see them in person, since you actually saw it before we did anything to it.
Well, I'd love to, because guess what? Stevens is opening December 4th. For those of you who are snowboarders, Baker's opening this weekend. If anybody likes the snow, Mount Baker's opening this weekend, and Stevens Pass ski area is opening December 4th. Joe, are you in town? Are you going or what? I don't know where Joe is, guys. He's so automated. He's probably just got.
I'm somewhere on the coast and lucky to have an internet right now. We're down just north of San Francisco, but we'll be back soon. And we, want to go skiing with anybody. So
actually, we might be able to meet up at Baker, Joe, or whatever.
Yes.
Let's figure that out.
Let's do it.
Enrique, you guys skiers? Your family, you guys are big hikers. You guys skiers?
I've skied all my life. But not the whole family. But one of my 3 daughters was a ski instructor last year.
Nice.
At Snoqualmie. But this year she's decided she's not going to do it. I mean, she's high school.
Actually, this afternoon, the whole Clark clan is heading over to Evo to buy all new gear, all new boards and bindings and boots for my little knuckle draggers here. So looking forward to that. Yeah.
We have a lot of people from Evo stay here at our Fremont Airbnb. Do you want me to message them and see if they have any we see if they have any discounts?
Whoa.
Friends and family? I'll find out.
Yeah, do that. Probably everything's on sale right now for Black Friday. But yeah, that's great. You want to know those at Evo also. Sorry guys, we're just talking shop here. There's the Altogether skateboard park underneath Evo, right? And that is, if you have kids, it is the best thing I've ever put my kids in is skateboarding and summer camps there with the team there. It's a bunch of skateboard dudes and gals and gals and everything else. And you would think they were rough and tumble. It is the most caring, awesome, wonderful community I've ever plugged my kids into is the Altogether Skateboard Park with a bunch of these crazy skateboard guys and gals. Such a great, and for like the LG, I don't know how to say it right, so I butcher it politically, I'm sorry, LGBTQ stuff, like that's very welcoming there and teaches the kids about all that too. It's just so great. But with COVID, you can't do it. So I'm trying to get a couple of my parents' friends together to just rent out the entire Evo skateboard park once a week, for the kids to go in there and have their space. So anyways, love Evo and that guy. Hook me up, Katrina. Right on. Okay, guys, anybody else today? I will say at the end of this announcement, once again, if you jumped on late, that as of January 1st, these meetups will no longer be shared recordings, that you can be a member of Seattle Investors Club and go listen to the recordings there, or you can just show up every week. As you guys have learned, thanks to Enrique today, how powerful the information is and all the stuff can be shared. It's always going to be free if you show up. Starting January, if you want to get the recordings, you got to join Seattle Investors Club for $220. Pretty cheap to plug into all these nuggets. And then I'm inviting everybody. I don't know if Katrina, you heard me say this or not, but starting right now, I haven't announced it anywhere else. We are officially inviting everybody to film videos and send them to us, and we will put them on our YouTube channel for Seattle Investors Club. Gives you an authority, a way to be an authority without having to worry about the whole platform yourself, helps us have great content. And we're going to organize it and figure it out as we go. But any tips, tricks, webinars even. Joe will have to tell you if you're going to do a webinar, you're going to need to send it to us in a format that we can post on YouTube along with a thumbnail. We'll give instructions out later on that, so we don't go super long on this today, but tips, tricks, strategies, whatever you're doing, whatever, any little things you want to share about anything you could think of, from investing to seller financing to shit that happened at a house to anything. Katrina, any of your real kindness stuff, we can have a little charitable, nonprofit-y section or something like that. I don't know. I'm making it up.
Sounds cool.
Yeah, and everybody is welcome. And it's going to be vetted though, right? So you got to send them to me, Julie@SeattleInvestorsClub.com. And any good stuff we'll post on there. Sounds good. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. All right, guys. Anybody else have anything today? Otherwise, we'll get out of here and get back to work.
I have just one thing. I don't know if I'm glitching right now, but I have to give my responsible air traffic controller spiel. If you're going to fly drones, please go to the FAA website and look at the hobbyists guidelines and all the other good stuff, because it's something that I'm not as big out here yet, but it's a thing, and they sell the drones and they don't tell you that you should do that. But the FAA, we put together a lot of information on the website about UASs and drones and stuff.
Are you an air traffic controller?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Ooh, that just gave me the chills, Kenny. Good for you.
Cool.
How's biz?
Hey, people are still flying. So I have a job.
What does that look like? Just out of curiosity, you like sit up in that tower and you watch. I mean, that seems like a serious job to me.
I'm in the radar room, so we see it all. I'm in the dark room looking at all the planes. So
wow. Is it scary?
It's 22 years, so it's what I do now.
Wow, that is so cool, man. That is so interesting. See how interesting people are, guys? I didn't know that. That's really awesome. Do you go to like school, like a vocational school there? How do you become an air traffic controller?
I was in the military for 6 years, so I've done it all over the place. This is just, now I'm in the FAA and making more money to do it.
Do you ever sit in there and go, oh shit, that was a close one?
No, we'll say no.
Okay, we'll say no. Good answer. I'll say on that. All right. Cool, man. That's really awesome. Thanks for sharing with us. But yeah, I hear you. So we bought the drone at Fred Meyer. Are those, we're talking about a 12-year-old flying a drone. Is that still a problem? Because I know what you mean, that you're not allowed, you have to have a pilot's license to fly these drones.
Well, it's not, there's hobbyists. You don't have to have a license. There's just different tiers. There's recreational, there's commercial who have a business and do it. So it depends on what you're doing is the page you would go to look at the restrictions. Even if you're a hobbyist, it's just good to go look, because there's certain restrictions about parks and public spaces and how close to buildings. And I mean, if you have just a small, tiny drone, it's probably not that serious, because there's a height restriction level or closeness to airports and stuff like that. But
well, I got a listing down in Lake Ridge, which is my favorite secret neighborhood down at the south end of Lake Washington. You guys know the Lake Ridge neighborhood? Oh man, it's so kick-ass views, beautiful homes. I love it, but you can't take aerial photos down there because it's in a zone that doesn't allow that, probably because it's close to the airport or whatever down there. Speaking of, now we're dragging on a little bit here, but I've been thinking a lot about like people's side gigs. Like I have friends that work right now, people that I know, and I feel like I want to help them. And so I've been talking about side gigs. One of them, which is good, it'd be a mobile notary is a good side gig right now, right? Or going to work for these busy ass lenders like Albert Bowie, who's looking to hire people, right? In the mortgage business, because they're just so busy. I was thinking about what other side gigs, and I think a good side gig would be to learn how to do Matterport, and aerials, and aerial photos and Matterports is a really good side gig right now, or photography, aerials and Matterports. My photographer that I use is expensive. I use Clarity Northwest. Who do you use, Katrina?
Her name's Jolene Winters. She's actually a broker and a photographer.
Okay.
So she can let herself in.
Yeah, I have one of those too, but the pictures aren't as good as Clarity. And but it is more expensive, I'll say, but it's good for social reasons or whatever. Side gigs though. Anybody else have any good side gigs?
Yeah, there's a website called Showdigs, SHOWDIGS,
Yeah.
showdigs.com. They are showing agents and inspectors, but not like licensed inspectors, not like Troy, like legitimate inspectors. These are just somebody who will go in and do just, snap pictures, look around type of a inspector.
Oh, like if
they
you're
go in the
an
attic or
investor.
basement. But so Showdigs, and you can sign up yourself if you want to sign up for free, and then they pay you. It's one of these things. You send it out and it like Uber style blasts it out to everybody, and so you can do the gig yourself or hire out if you need showings or inspections done of properties.
That is awesome. I'm looking at it right here. I'm looking at it. What's that site that some real estate agent started that's an octopus? Do you know what I'm talking about?
That's OctoHub.
Yeah, that logo. Yes.
OctoHub. Yeah, OctoHub.
So what is it? It's called showgigs.com?
Showdigs.
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 Joe, can you drop some of this stuff in the
Here.
chat? Get a chance?
Showdigs.com. There, I put it.
And so do you have any, what is the cost for that?
It's $40 to pay the company. I think they pay $25 out to the person and they keep $15 profit is the deal. So of course, in the beginning, I thought, oh, well, $25, like who's going to go out and show a property or go inspect a property for $25? But the reality is there's a whole lot of people that, are on the app, so that if it's something that's just down the street for them, for half an hour, make $25, sure. Or those people are, yeah. So I've always had, it's been very successful for myself using it. It's like there's enough people that are happy to make $25 a pop.
What do you use it for?
And you've been
showings and inspections. Like if I don't feel like driving to Tacoma because Tacoma's too far, I'm like, I'm too lazy to drive out there and show a property. Then I just hire them up and they just go show a rental for me. So mostly showings of rentals, but I've also had them do now inspections of rentals.
Great resource. OctoHub was really expensive and it was weird. You had to pay, and then they had to pay the brokerage that then had to distribute down to their brokers.
Nice, good one. Anybody else got it?
BPO photo flow that I've used for Rochester, New York, to have people go out and take pictures and stuff like that. They do a BPO photo flow.
Like photo photo flow. Oh, I got you. Yeah, I'm checking it out. Oh.
You can actually sign pictures for people too, for like little things. Like you can do cars, houses, all types of different things, and their coverage area gets updated by when people sign up to take pictures for them.
Nice. Wait, what's your guys' opinion of what's going to happen with people that are in forbearance? Speaking of BPOs and all that jazz, like, we're in a different financial crisis this time because we're not in a housing crisis, we're in a health crisis, and everybody isn't over leveraged with these bad loans. They have equity. Even if you bought a house 12 months ago, you have equity right now, unless the market's going to go down, which probably won't happen until interest rates go up. But with this forbearance stuff and all these people that took forbearance, what do you think is going to happen with those people once that is over? And let's say they can't afford, they obviously the goal would probably be to do a loan modification for these people, right? But there is the potential that they lost their job or they get paid less now, or maybe they had to go to part-time and I don't know. What do you guys think is going to happen with forbearance?
Everything that I'm hearing says almost nothing is going to happen. The forbearance in the past, when in 2008, people would have to be 90 days late, then you could start forbearance. And at the end of your forbearance period, you had to come up with every month that you missed in one lump sum. With the current lending practices this year, banks are contacting you the moment you call it, the first month you have an issue instead of 3 months later. You start your forbearance, goes on for 6 months, you can extend it for another 6 months, and at the end they give you a 0 interest tacked on loan to the end. So you just, in that 7th month, you pay that month only. So a lot of the people got extra unemployment, extended unemployment. A lot of people are in forbearance that are still working, just like the tenants that aren't paying rent, that have no reason to not being paying rent. So it isn't going to be like the last time. We won't see the impact from forbearance. The only change we're going to see is the people moving out of the major cities, Seattle, San Francisco, New York, into the, an hour out because they can work from home now. So there may be some softening in prices there, but forbearance isn't going to be the problem that a bunch of YouTubers seem to think is going to be a big issue.
I agree with you. I don't think there's going to be a bunch of REOs and stuff like that. I'm trying to figure out where those are going to come from, where the REO is going to come from, right? People don't need to be foreclosed on. They can just sell. They have equity if they need to sell.
Equity is the big change too. In 2008, people, with the appreciation they thought they had and the principal pay down they thought they were getting, they found themselves underwater because the drop was so big. Now it's not dropping. The prices, look at the demand. There's less than a month's inventory. Pretty much every investor that I even hear of has money waiting to find the next deal. So there isn't going to be the drop when they need to sell if they're the people who are out of work, were impacted, don't have the money.
So the real risk then is more so the migration out of these cities into the burbs, creating more inventory in some of the closer in city areas. I don't know if that's going to happen either, right?
Right, but even those are mostly vertical. So you're not really impacting even small multifamily or houses.
Right.
For the next couple of years, those prices are going to keep going up, especially if interest rates stay as low as they are now.
Yeah, I mean, the urban condos and townhomes down, like that's what Matthew Gardner and I were talking about when we were talking offline at the end. He's like, I'm glad you didn't ask me about, like urban condos, because I'm worried about urban condos. And I'm worried about hospitality and leisure, which I'm not worried about hospitality and leisure, because even myself is working with a fund, people that have a fund to buy hotels, to repurpose them to micro housing. It's a thing. It is going to happen, right? And so, but the urban condos, is going to be an issue. But and then also there's all these developments right now that are here in the Seattle area. You see these cranes all over downtown. Well, they're not doing anything, because they can't get their permanent financing, or there is some serious opportunities. So I've kind of put my commercial real estate hat on lately. I don't talk about that with you guys, but I got some big stuff that people are letting me run up the flagpole through my, I'll say, international network. Remember, I come out of a Chinese brokerage firm for several years. And there is some seriousness going on right now with big development projects not moving because they lost even commercial, even huge office buildings that lost their tenants, lost their equity funding from US developers and stuff like that, because there's just this unknown and this risk, and the bank financing has shut down on that. So everything's just sitting there, right? And so some of the projects, you wonder if there's going to be, you can't do condo conversions, nobody's going to move downtown, right? So until people are going to move back downtown again, there's going to be some opportunities maybe for foreign national buyers to swoop in and pick up some of these deals, maybe, or risk averse type buyers. If you guys are following what I'm saying, there's an interesting niche right now that's available. Just saying, if you guys come across any of that stuff, let's talk. Big stuff. This is big pond stuff. I'm playing in the big pond right now, but I'll never talk about it until something actually would ever happen. It's just different pond. So
I think the big opportunity is going to be everyone who's buying now when interest rates reset in 7 years. That's going to be huge.
Go ahead and say more about what you think there, Troy.
Well, most commercial buys, you're at 7-year balloons and then you refinance at a new interest rate. But people are buying stuff with money, 2% interest, 5% interest rates. If interest rates go up at all, you can't afford the new mortgage payments. So,
right. When you're doing your projection on your refinance on your stabilized asset 7 or 10 years down the road, you're going to need to be right now, before you even buy it, you need to be calculating what your refinance is going to look like to make sure you're going to be able to get your debt service coverage ratio covered at that time. I was talking about that with somebody else on the flip side in regards to commercial properties and multifamily institutionals or whoever, they put on like that 7 or 10 year term debt, right?
Yeah.
So, but everything has appreciated so much. But here's the issue. If there are any multifamily or commercial loans maturing in the next 12, 24, 36 months, and their rents have dropped and their buildings have emptied out, or their rents have dropped, their collections have gone down, and they need to refinance and get a new appraisal, boom, that's where you could look at 100%, what appears to be 100% occupied with tenant lease modifications in place in a 100% occupied building, and they're not going to be able to fucking refinance. Yeah, you and I know what's up, Troy. Katrina, you know what I'm talking about. Rick, you know what we're talking about. That is like huge opportunities, but that's not a secret. Let's just say for everybody that plays in that world, that is not a secret. So
everyone who's buying now, it's obvious. It's not obvious to them, I don't think.
What, that rates are going to be up 7 or 10 years from now?
Yeah.
We're talking about people who are smaller investors who think they're cool buying commercial buildings and stuff like that might not know that.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
But the big players, they know this. Yeah, right. Right. Good, valid point. Super valid point. Again, showing up, having the conversation today, maybe you learned something, a niche you can go look at, right? Stuff like that. That is a rabbit hole topic right there, brother. So anyways, let's jump off. We've gone way long today. Kenny and everybody, Enrique, thanks for all your contributions on the resources today. Super rad. And we will chat at you later next time.
Thank you, Julie.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, Julie.
Thanks,
My
Julie.
day is complete when you drop the F-bomb at the end there.
Yeah, that's why
Thank
we're
you
not
very much for that.
That's why we're not going to record and share these any, because I can't help myself at some point, right? Then I start getting loose with where nobody's listening. Sorry, I apologize to the world, whoever's listening. Okay, all right, guys, later. See ya.
All right.
Thanks, Julie.